Good afternoon and welcome to Phoebus High School in Hampton, Virginia on October 16, 2018. We're here to bring you some volleyball today as the Phoebus Phantoms welcome in the Bruins of Bethel High School. This is Frank Edgar along with Coach Lindsey Bomba with me today to call these games. We haven't done a volleyball game in a while here on LSC 48, and we are looking forward to today's contest. These two teams met just yesterday with Phoebus getting a 3-2 win over the Bethel Bruins. Bethel now at full numbers today, as Jelani Davis was missing yesterday. We'll see what the addition of her brings to the Bruins today. Coach, you're familiar with some of the players on Bethel. You used to coach over there. You've probably seen some of the players in Phoebus. What do you expect out of today?
I expect good competition.
Yeah, I hope so. And we got a good crowd here of boys players that are watching their schoolmates play. We've got a great afternoon for some volleyball, and just glad to have you with us here on LSC 48. Team's getting ready now. The up official coach, Shane Stewart, is in position now on the net, and we are going to get ready to go. We've got Bethel in their traveling green today, Phoebus in their home off-white. And you'll see one player on each team with the different colored jersey. That's the libero. And I'll have the coach explain the concept of the libero as we go forward. For those of you not aware of volleyball, or certainly not in the last 15 years, that's a different concept. Bethel to serve here.
Nice left hand by number 5. Good roll shot to the back. It's a pretty long rally for the first point of the match tonight.
Well, you were right. We warmed up a little slower than this. And finally, Phoebus's number 16 drives in the net, Jessica Peterson. It keeps the serve over with Bethel's number 16, Avery Brown-Renfro. Shows she's going to serve a second time. Bethel leading 1-0.
It's an aggressive serve. Nice top spin. So if an athlete squares their shoulders prior to passing the ball facing the net backwards, then the ball would have probably most likely gone in.
Now, the libero stays only in the back line. Is that correct?
Yes.
So they're more of a defensive specialist?
Yes.
All right.
They should be receiving most balls, most hard hits. Bethel's doing a great job of communicating on the court.
They really are. You can hopefully our camera's picking up the sound from the team as they talk to each other. Now to serve for Bethel, number 10, Riley Zeman. Riley's one of those up-and-coming players. Her coach, Sarah Mira, told us before the game. Nice one off the hands of the Phoebus back line. 3-1 now, lead by Bethel. These sets are to 25 points, best 3 out of 5. Riley Zeman to serve.
Very consistent, too. 2 aces in a row.
And get what I would call a carry. Is that?
It's a double hit, so
double
2
hit.
contacts on the ball,
Okay.
a lot of rotation on the ball. So Sean's looking for a lot of spin coming off their hands.
Now that's a skill that you develop, how to pop that ball up while controlling it with your hands up like that.
Indeed, it all comes from having your feet underneath you, moving your feet and catching it just perfectly.
Hit out of bounds by Jessica Peterson. Another Bethel point, 6-1 they lead. And Riley Zeman with an ace. And coordinated cheers there in between the plays. Now, as a coach, do you teach that or just allow that to develop?
No, I encourage them to come together and do their own thing. Each year it'll be a different dance, depending on what is popular at the time.
Zeman hits that one in the net, so Phoebus picks up a point and the serve. Now Michaela Riggs to serve for the Phantoms.
Looks like they're in their Dig Pink attire for breast cancer this month. Good teamwork there, good communication. She did a better job that time of squaring up her shoulders to get that ball over. So when a player comes from the back row, they're not allowed to pass that 10-foot line or it'll be called a back row attack.
No matter how it's struck. In other words, no matter if it's struck down or struck up.
So they can't be above the plane of the net with their hands.
Okay.
So they could be very short and jump,
All right.
and it wouldn't be called a back row attack.
Now we see the rotation. The libero is gone out, number
They
one.
have to sit out one rotation before they come back in.
And they always enter at the serve?
Yes. So that would be the beginning of the back row for the rotation so that she'd get 3 rotations in.
Zeman with a nice right hand.
It's a lot of back row attacks that are very good. Nice deep shot.
And out of bounds. Bethel's number 3, Jaden Henderson. Ball goes over to Phoebus. And number 10, Janae Thomas is going to serve. 8-3 Bethel.
Woo! It's a coach's worst nightmare when there's a drop ball. It makes me anxious just sitting here watching. You did a good job of getting that over, though.
And that point goes to Phoebus.
As a coach, we want all our kids to follow the ball to the line because that was a close one. That way they know.
And serve is short, so back over to Phoebus. Excuse me, to Bethel. Now this is Jaden Henderson with the serve for the Bruins. She serves in the net. Now she can serve it off the top of the net so long as it drops over.
Yep,
that
just
used
like
to be
tennis.
a side out, as
Yep.
I remember.
Yep, just like tennis. A let serve. Way back in the day, though, that was illegal.
All right, ball goes over to Phoebus. Destiny Summers to serve for the Phantoms.
It's a great top spin serve. They have to get it over now because she didn't make contact with the ball.
A nice hit there. Going to surprise the back line of the Bruins. Seeing a lot of work here shown by the coaches. Sarah Mira for Bethel and Raven Richardson for the Bruins. I imagine this is a sport, especially in a city like Hampton where there's not much of a feeder program. This is something you have to teach the young ladies when they get to high school.
Yeah, and you have to recruit them because they didn't grow up playing volleyball.
Lauren Gray to serve. And she picks up a point for the Bruins.
That was what I would call a floater serve. So if you get a pocket of air right behind your palm and catch it just right, that ball will actually shake when you serve.
Like a knuckleball.
Mm-hmm, exactly. It's aggressive.
A nice stick back there by Bethel's number 4, Aubriana Royal.
She did a great job of staying up at the net, playing aggressive. It's good offense.
Timeout called, I believe, by the Phoebus Phantoms. They're going to talk it over. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you followed our broadcast of football on Saturday, you saw that many of the players had sleeves or socks or some other pink attire. See, the Bethel Bruins have adopted that today with the hair ribbons. Always makes for a colorful month of sports in high school.
The referees are also participating with their pink whistles.
Very nice. We're here at this beautiful gym in Phoebus, down on Ireland Street. We've seen the football players, of course, the Phantoms, famous football team, already out in the field today when we got here. Field hockey is playing their last home game out in the backside of the school. Lots of activity here at Phoebus, as there are at all 4 Hampton schools. Bethel's Lauren Gray to serve again. Her team leads at 12-6. And she knocks it out of bounds.
Good timeout taken by Phoebus. Ice the server.
Here's Jessica Peterson for the Phantoms.
So in volleyball, you are allowed to double hit the first ball over the net, which just happened. Back in the day, you could not do that.
Is that a recent rule change?
Yes, it's to increase the amount of rallies that can go back and forth. I missed the call. Was it a double hit?
It must have been. I couldn't see. It was behind Mr. Stewart there.
Yeah.
The ball has gone over to Bethel. So the first hit of just the initial or of all back and forth?
All back and forth. If it's a hard-driven ball. If it's a free ball, they can't double it. But if it's anything coming at trajectory at a down angle, they can double hit it.
Nice hit there by Avery Brown-Renfro for the Bruins.
They have to be careful not to take that ball from behind their head and throw it. That would be considered a carry. That was a tough call.
Here's Bethel's number 4, Aubriana Royal, to serve. And she can serve anywhere along the back line.
Yes, she can. Yeah. Although
And
she
Stewart
does have
stops
to,
him.
yeah, she has to wait for that whistle.
She got a little ahead of the official.
The referee's watching to make sure her foot does not cross that line or make contact with it. That would be called a foot fault. Very close there.
It was close, yeah. So side out to Phoebus. And the libero, Claudia Peterson, no doubt related to number 16, Jessica Peterson. They both were in the gym early today getting warmed up. And the serve just gets over.
It's a great approach taken by number 16. She's nice and aggressive at the net. Won the battle.
Now, we saw Phoebus's number 1, Wesley Gomes, step on the line and into the net. Into the net's still a no-no, is it?
Yes, correct.
And stepping on the line is okay as long as you don't go all the way over.
Correct.
Right.
So you can have a piece of your foot.
But not the whole thing. And
But
you
not
can't
the whole
contact
thing.
another player on the other side.
Exactly.
All right. Avery Brown-Renfro drives the serve in the net, giving Phoebus a point and the serve. So here's Wesley Gomes, a name known in Phoebus High School. She's the president of the class over here. Almost good hit by number 5 for Bethel, Kamari Foster, but into the net. Point Phoebus. And Miss Gomes, of course, the daughter of Wayne Gomes, a great Major League Baseball pitcher who played at Phoebus and at Old Dominion. Had his best years with the Philadelphia Phillies. Nice recovery there by the Phantoms.
Like how they're changing it up, going over on 1 instead of just playing that 3 ball, catching Bethel off guard.
So Wesley Gomes with another serve. Her team trails it by 4, 15-11.
Nice deep corner shot made by number, I believe, 5.
And as a result of that deep corner shot, he was not able to get it back across. Point Bethel, and they have the serve, 16-11. Here's Riley Zeman again. Out of bounds there.
Great communication by Bethel, following it to the line, making sure it went out of bounds.
They certainly are more talkative than Phoebus on the floor.
That wins a game sometimes. Volleyball is definitely a team sport all the way around.
Zeman to serve, another good one. And Gomes had to come up quickly, and she ends up knocking out of bounds. Another point for the Bruins. Timeout for the Phoebus Phantoms. There's no limitless timeouts, are there? How many?
Two.
A set. Two a set?
Two.
And we even have a timeout clock here. Very
Pretty
nice.
fancy.
Yes. Well, now the young ladies from Bethel came over and visited with you beforehand. Had they developed some since you last saw them? I guess it's been 2 or 3 years since you've seen those young ladies.
Very much so. I met 3 of those ladies when they were freshmen at Bethel, and now they are grown women. So it was definitely a shock to see them. I'm happy that they came up and said hello, though. It's always nice as a coach to see your old players.
Oh, I've seen several of them play different sports. We haven't seen Jelani Davis yet, but we will. A state shot put champion and great basketball player here.
It's number 12, correct?
Yep. You know, the Bethel team, just the number of players, both teams have a healthy squad, number of players, which is a good sign for Hampton volleyball. Riley Zeman again to serve.
And that was always a struggle for me as the boys coach, trying to recruit people. But they do have a big squad. It's very difficult to play those balls when they go into the net.
Well, the one thing we haven't seen, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a consistent setter. Nobody seems to be designated as that second hit, the setter.
They might just run an offensive play where they just have the right person setting or the middle set.
Michaela Riggs now for the Phantoms. That was knocked in the net by Avery Brown Renfro. Point Phoebus. They trail it by 5, 18-13.
I think it'd be a lot easier if they did have somebody designated as the quote-unquote quarterback of the team.
Nice hit.
Number 5, Kamari Foster, has got a great left hand.
She really does, and I'm not sure they expect the left-handed hit.
I know when I was playing back in the day, every time somebody would play left, I would get thrown off blocking and playing defense because I'm always expecting the right hand.
Right. Oh, correct. Talking left and right. Michaela Riggs again for the Phantoms. Peterson from the left side. That's the left hitter spot, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Bethel defense got caught standing up.
Now, certainly the height of these girls are not what you see, for example, in the more familiar women's college game, where those outside hitters can be 6'2", 6'3".
Correct. Looks like we have more soccer players. But they still have a great arm on them, and they're playing very consistent. It's a great set by number 14.
Peterson again. Oh, yeah. Confusion there.
We call that the campfire, roasting marshmallows.
Riggs settling in on the serving line. She scored 3 points in a row, going for her 4th. And she's got it. The ball bounces the arm of Trinity Luck. Timeout called by Bethel. So Bethel, which has enjoyed a sizable lead the entire set, now leads only by 1. I guess having a consistent server is invaluable. And
It really is. It can win the game. For some, you can get maybe 10 to 15 points just off one server. So taking that time out was pretty important to regain the momentum that they had.
It sure shifted it in this set. Bethel over there trying to get their organization back.
Yeah, they're just making some silly mistakes here and there.
Had to be Wayne Gomes, the culprit there, was grabbing the headphone. Have you met Wayne Gomes before?
I have not.
I'll keep you away from him, keep you safe.
I appreciate
Wayne
that.
has had a great career here at Phoebus. And in the Baseball Hall of Fame at Old Dominion. One of the most feared relief pitchers in the major leagues when he was playing there. His beautiful daughter is #1, Wesley. So Michaela Riggs trying to tie this set up. And she does it. I think it's the first mistake we've seen Avery Brown Renfro make. She's been solid, #16 for Bethel.
Yeah, they're running a different type of serve receive than I would, having kind of a triangle position versus having 3 across. It makes it difficult for those kids behind her to figure out if she's going to take the ball or not.
That's the double hit you're talking about right there on the first one. It hits the hands off the shoulder.
Exactly.
And Phoebus finally grabs the point and the serve. It's going to be Bethel and now Kamari Foster, the left-hander, as we've seen.
Good coverage at the net by Bethel. They should take advantage of that free ball from Phoebus.
And they do. They get a point. 20-18 now. The Bethel Bruins lead it. He sets her to 25.
More often than not, a libero will always be middle after the first rotation, after the serve. I don't think Phoebus's libero is playing middle as of yet. Very aggressive play by Phoebus, #16.
Yeah, Jessica Peterson.
Yeah, great job.
Who's really been extremely active from that one spot on the floor.
Good push by #4, Ariana. She saw a hole and she went.
Very athletic young lady. I've
She
seen
is.
her play other sports.
She's tall, too.
Kamari Foster again serving.
Great pass by #16.
They're very patient, aren't they? Not a lot of frantic running around.
No. It's always admired about girls' sports and girls' volleyball. That would be a double.
Yeah.
But they just have better ball control than boys. The boys are better at the net.
Well, if Hampton school athletic fans haven't seen volleyball recently, it's on a lot of the channels now because it's very popular on the West Coast, obviously. And then the Big Ten has gotten to be a really strong conference.
Up north as well, it's very popular. New York. It's a great short serve.
Oh, Foster with the stuff right down. Nice play, good timing. It may have surprised her that she was where she was. But good positioning. Bethel gets the point.
I think so. Phoebus should have been covering their hitter and their blocker so they could pick up that ball.
And that means you mean slide in behind them?
Exactly.
As they go up for a hit. Riggs with a nice save, but no help. 23-19. Jaden Henderson trying to close out this set for the Bruins.
It's an aggressive serve right down the line.
And carry there, what I would call carry. She was down low with her hand and brought the ball up.
Yeah, sometimes it can roll off your platform as well. So if it takes a weird roll, they'll also call it carry.
So set point for the Bruins here. Henderson serving. Riggs from the back line. Oh, and Foster with a nice block down to the floor, and the Bruins grab the first set here, 25-19.
Awesome block to finish that game. Sneak attack.
Now, what do you think now? You've been out of coaching on the Hampton school side for a few years. What do you think about the development of the game since you've been gone?
It still has a lot of work in progress to be done. I mean, in Hampton, they don't have that feeder program that Newport News has, so therefore those kids don't have that base or that foundation. If you think about sports like basketball, those kids grow up knowing how to dribble is the most fundamental part of the sport. But in volleyball, you know, teaching somebody to dribble, or aka pepper, back and forth, you have to really start from the basics.
Well, what can the City of Hampton do to help develop that feeder program? Is that something that the City of Newport News does from a school side, or do they do that just in a rec league kind of context? I
would think both. I mean, we have the rec programs available, but they cost money. I think a great addition would be to develop a JV, like sport, and have it sanctioned, and referees and the whole 9 yards, not just in intramurals. It's not as organized.
Well, it certainly is a lot of fun. I didn't play it until after I quit playing basketball, you know, in the late, I guess, in my 30s. But I found it to be a lot of fun, a lot of great tournaments around here, outdoor, beach, volleyball. How many young ladies do you prefer to have on your team? So how many kids can play on a varsity team?
I would max out.
Which is what, 15?
I think it's 15 or 17, if I can remember right. But I would get as many as possible, because all it's going to do is build the program. Of course, the younger the better, but believe it or not, when I coached, my favorite kids were the seniors. They were the most mature. They were the leaders, raw athletes. You could teach them anything. I had some kids from soccer, basketball, and football come in, and they all had stuff to bring to the sport, especially baseball.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think, I know that there are coaches in all sports that will wander the halls trying to find the piece.
Yeah.
In football season, it's the kickers. The coaches will eye the soccer team and try to find a kicker to come out and play. It's a very important part of the game. For volleyball, I know there's a young lady that is involved in horseback riding with my daughter, who had just happened to grow 6 inches in the last year and a half.
Perfect.
And so I think she's at Tab High School, and the coach went down the hallway the first day, and there's this nearly 6 foot tall young lady standing there, and she now plays volleyball because they needed the height. I imagine having a couple of 6 footers could be a real advantage in high school.
Yeah, sometimes the looks are perceiving. Just because you're tall doesn't mean that you can move. It makes you longer, more apt to get in the net, get in people's way. I mean, it just all depends on the athlete. I'd much rather take a short person that's athletic than a tall person that doesn't know how to move. So it's pros and cons for both.
Well, for Phoebus, we watched the Peterson sisters here, 16 and 7.
Yes.
Who certainly Jessica Peterson showed herself to be one of the better, certainly from the front line we saw in the first set. So the teams have changed sides of the net. Phoebus now on our right-hand side. Michael Price on the camera work today, getting a shot right down on the floor. Steve Fryer, our longtime cameraman, out doing a little field hockey coverage today right here at Phoebus High School. Been some lineup changes on, looks like on both squads. And we'll identify them as they come to the serve. Wesley Gomes to serve for the Phantoms here in set number 2. Nice recovery over there by Bethel, but then Phoebus number 5, Nadia Richardson, knocks it home. First point of the set goes to the Phantom.
So there's a little controversy over there whether number 5 touched the net or not, and the down referee, James, said that it was the ball. Sometimes in a follow-through and a hit, your hand can touch the net.
First time we see Jelani Davis in the game for Bethel. Her first hit gets a little too close to the net. Another point for Phoebus. Gomes to serve again. And it's a good serve. Bethel not able to dig it out. I imagine consistency is really the hallmark of a good server. Getting that ball in the field of play.
And being consistent in her procedure, or how she approaches the ball every single time, getting in a rhythm. It's a great pass. Setter tried to communicate with the player to get out of her way.
It looked like she tried to sneak one over and just got caught with the top of the net. So ball goes over to Bethel. Avery Brown Renfro to serve. Libero, Claudia Peterson steps up, not able to dig it out. 3-2 now, Phoebus.
So they have a defense or serve receiver they're playing 4 in the back row.
Double hit there called on Jessica Peterson.
And it looks to appear that number 1 is actually hiding behind number 6 until after the serve. Then once the serve is done, she runs up and sets.
And that was inbounds. Jane Marino on the far side. We call the down official, down referee.
Yep. She's going to be switching and doing the boys game next.
Oh, nice one off the top of the net. Score the point for Bethel. They move ahead 5-3.
So remember earlier you were talking about the set and who was setting. It looks that Phoebus might be running a 5-1, 5 hitters and 1 setter, since number 1 looks to be running up and setting the ball.
Right time off of Claudia Peterson's hands. So 6-3 now, Bethel. So you see Gomes stay near the back line with 3 in front of her.
She has to hide behind number 6 because she's front row right now.
That one.
But she's supposed to be hiding, not receiving.
Now, what does that do? Is a timeout called by
Coach Raven? I think.
Yeah. What does that do by moving the setter to the back and kind of hiding her?
Well, she's not allowed to be. She doesn't want to be in the serve receive because if she gets the first ball, she can't set it. Okay. So the goal for her is to hide behind there. Relatively, I would coach her much closer to the number 6 so that she has a shorter path to run.
Okay.
Hopefully the libero number 6 gets the ball. She runs up and sets and then can make a offensive play.
Now, it was in my review of volleyball, trying to catch up on things, setter seems to be the most important part of a team, followed shortly or right after by the libero.
I agree. And then your outside hitter, your setter is the quarterback of the team. They run the plays just like she was doing earlier on Phoebus. She was communicating move, 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 so that she had a lane. Plus, you don't ever want your hitters up at the net because then otherwise they can't transition to hit.
All right, so now we'll see Avery Brown Renfro for the Bruins back in service mode. That time Gomes popped over in the second hit.
That's a great set by Bethel.
Jelani Davis knocks it out of bounds. And it goes over to Phoebus. There's Michaela Riggs again.
That was sorry.
Go ahead.
Kamari Foster with that beautiful set. It's gorgeous. Awful close to the line by Phoebus.
That one's going to fall short.
So we talked earlier about squaring your body to the net. In every sport, you want to square. If you are sideways in volleyball, you want to drop that shoulder.
The Riggs again. That's Davis that time.
Good communication by Phoebus. Get that ball back over. Another great set by Kamari Foster.
Just not enough on the third hit. Point Phoebus. Here's Riggs once again with a long stretch of serving. She did in the first set. 7-6 now, Bethel.
Very consistent server.
Davis stepped too far under the net that time.
I think it was a net violation.
On Phoebus?
I'm not really, the call that she said was a net violation, but I don't think Phoebus understands who it was either. Yeah. Now the coach can ask for clarification in which athlete was in the net.
Riggs from the back line. And a great smart play. Just hit it behind the one that's just come out of position to hit.
Bethel's doing a great job being aggressive at the net, staying up for that block and not transitioning early. So both players at Phoebus are stuck up at the net.
So the nice hit again by Riggs.
Net violation by Bethel on their block. So when you go up to block, you can't penetrate the net too much or the net will actually, or you'll touch it. So you have to learn to make a C with your body when you go up.
All right, Phoebus is number 17. Mariah Lee to serve.
And the referee had his hand up. I don't think she caught that.
She's just coming to game, a little anxious to get in the scorebook.
She had a good serve earlier, though. Nice short serve in front of the 10-foot line. There she goes again, the same serve, catching him off guard.
And Riggs puts it in the middle, but nobody there.
It's an aggressive hit by Lauren Gray from Bethel.
So the libero can enter even though the ball is not coming to Phoebus to serve.
Correct. You don't have to use any of your subs or
the
anything like that.
rotation's on the same for both sides.
Similar.
Well, I guess my question about substitution timing. The libero can come in even though the ball is not coming to this particularly offensive team to serve.
Correct. It's any dead ball. And as long as they've sat out one rotation.
Okay.
And they can serve for one person, but they have to stay consistent throughout that entire game. They can't switch servers.
Nadia Richardson now to serve for the Phantoms. 10-8 Bethel.
Little combo bow and arrow and jump serve there. It's interesting.
Riggs, and the ground rules here, I'm sure, are play it off whatever's above.
Correct, unless the ball goes over the net and it can't play off of that.
So 11-8, Jelani Davis.
Jelani looks like she's got some height to her.
A terrific athlete in everything she does. Three-sport star at Bethel.
She's got a lot of power.
She does have a lot of power. State shot put champion.
Didn't look like it took much effort for that ball to go clear across the gym.
Yeah, Jessica Peterson for the Phantoms.
This is a great serve in the deep corner.
And nice.
Nice.
And Avery Brown Renfro. Petersons look like they have played some volleyball before, both the sisters there.
They sure do.
16, number 7. I think they've, I don't know about what feeder program, we'll have to ask. Now for Bethel, number 14, Lauren Gray to serve. Her team leads at 12-9 here in the second set.
It's a fantastic topspin serve, but well dug by number 6 from Phoebus. It's a good rally going on right now.
Peterson from the back line. Leslie Gomes with a nice tip over.
I think she lost her footing a little bit. Might have been emergency play. Ooh.
Oh, and Michaela Riggs, who's really showing us her talent here in volleyball. A lot of backline hits by Riggs.
She's very aggressive, so if nobody's going to go for it, she's going to run up and get it. Her teammates know her, too. They make room for her.
Phoebus draws within 2, 12-10. Claudia Peterson to serve.
Net violation by number 4. I thought her knee went underneath the line, though.
So a point for Phoebus. Claudia Peterson again, trying to draw her team level here in set 2. And she does just that, 12-12 now.
Very difficult to pass a ball when you're still running. I know when I coached, always you plant your feet and then you pass the ball. Get a little bit more ball control that way.
Oh, nice recovery over there by Brown Renfro.
If you do see defenders right underneath where you're blocking, you got to redirect that block with your fingertips and change direction. It's a great, she's fabulous footwork.
And she wins the point.
By Michaela Riggs. That first step is that adjustment step, and then she has an approach straight to the net. She's doing a fabulous job at the net. And like we talked about before, she doesn't have the height.
Right.
She's just athletic.
Right, and she's been the big hitter for Phoebus all day.
That's a great serve. Take advantage of that. I would have hit that on one, but she wants to get set up.
And Wesley Jones set Riggs beautifully. Good communication as we see him almost communicate by eyeball.
Yeah, a good team doesn't even have to communicate. I often play beach volleyball with a deaf guy, and he is fantastic.
Just being aware of who's on the floor, or in that case, who's on the beach.
Yes.
Davis and Foster combine to knock it out. Phoebus moves ahead by 3, 15 to 12.
Off a shanked pass, she's allowed to go all the way to this line right behind the referee and play it back into her court. But she cannot cross this line outside the referee as well.
That one off the hands of Bethel's Lauren Gray. Another point for Phoebus.
Might be a timeout soon. Oh. You can see the body language of Bethel kind of getting frustrated a little bit. Coach is going to pick him up.
Again, steady serving from Claudia Peterson. And they move ahead by 4.
Yeah, the energy is a lot more upbeat in Phoebus right now. They need to take advantage of this. So the coach over here is trying to ice them. Hopefully the server can stay consistent like you talked about before, not get iced.
Do you find that with the 5-set matches, that it's almost like tennis? It can, like waves. You know, somebody can win a tennis set 6-love and then come back and lose the next one 6-1 to the other. You know, it's just an energy level or maybe momentum level.
Right, you need to stay humble and stick to the basics. I think volleyball's fundamentals are key to any sport. Just like you said, serving, passing, setting. Not trying to play all tricky, but just getting the fundamentals and letting the other team make the mistakes.
Well, it certainly is one of the more confined sports. I mean, it's a rather simple to explain. You get 3 hits, and the third one has to go over the net and land in the square occupied by the other team. That's about it. And yet it's got these layers of complexity.
Oh, extremely. I know when I coach the baseball players and I'm teaching them how to rotate. So I disagree with that call, but it was a double hit. I thought it was a beautiful set. Sometimes the referees can see things we can't, though.
He is standing on the higher platform.
He sure is.
Johnny Davis. That's Riley Zeman, who's re-entered for the Bruins. And that's been a nice substitution there by Coach Sarah Mira.
That was a great deep shot by Avery Brown Renfro.
She's had a very good day today.
She saw that corner open in Phoebus and went there.
Jaden Henderson to serve for the Bruins. They trail it by 4, 17-13 here in set number 2.
She did a good job of squaring her shoulders up.
I'm just about to say, I'm now watching their footwork. She sure did.
So double hit on that first ball, but it's acceptable.
And the second hit rolled off her hand backward, and Peterson not able to correct.
Hoping her sister would come in and help her, because sometimes when you're backpedaling, it's difficult to see. Great pass.
Well, that was a nice play again by Riggs. Her positioning is terrific. I mean, she's very aware of where she is. And
if you've noticed her ups, too.
Very much so.
She
and
can
the
jump.
Timing. It's all about timing.
She's waiting till the last possible second, the highest point, and she's contacting the ball high.
Double hit called on Zima.
Sometimes as coaches, we teach the elbow. You hit with the elbow. If you get your elbow up high, then the hand will go follow.
Well, where were you when I was playing volleyball trying to hit that top spin hit that so many of the good players have?
I'm sure Miss Riggs can teach you.
Well, she's got it. Called out.
It's a good call.
First time she was deep and ball was a little bit over her head. Had to put a little more effort on it, and it just slipped out of bounds on the far side. Bethel gets a point, 19-15. Avery Brown-Renfro serving.
And as athletes, we have to be careful. If we keep contacting the ball behind our head, we're going to grow to be my age and have problems.
That one into the net for Bethel. 20-15 now, Phoebus and Riggs to serve.
Looks like Coach Raven over there at Phoebus is trying to communicate with Riggs and where to serve. So there's 6 different positions on the court. She's giving her numbers where to serve to.
Now, is that what's the hands that go behind the back when you see on the beach or something like that? What are they doing?
That's whether to hit line. So if somebody's putting, or what they're blocking. So if somebody's putting a 1 behind them, they're blocking line, which means as the defender, as the server, I'm going to go into the cross court.
Okay.
And if I put a 2, I'm blocking cross. So that way your defender knows where to stand.
Got a piece of the net that did Bethel.
I think it was called a carry. When she went up to serve, she kind of used more of her elbow and shoulder as opposed to just a flick of the wrist.
22-15 now, Phoebus. Riggs serves again and serves out of bounds. After this game, we'll have to talk to some of the players, see where they learned this, because whatever program Riggs learned in, we want to shuttle more players in.
Yeah, I know there's a Peninsula Juniors Recreation League. Ooh.
3 hits, 1 inadvertent.
I like how Tin didn't give up on that ball, and she still went for it.
She's coming out here. She played the entire first set. Is even now Bethel's number 8, Brianna Oglesby. 23-16 Phoebus. Here's Mariah Lee.
The nice short serve again.
And that one's too far by Bethel's number 12, Lila Richardson. We're back over set point now for the Phoebus Phantoms, having come back trying to grab this second set and level the match.
She's very consistent on her serve.
And nice over the head there by Bethel's number 14, Lauren Gray.
I remember coaching Lauren when she was a freshman, and her spunk and fire really appealed to me. She's very aggressive, as you can see. So she won't wait. If she sees a hole in Phoebus, she's going to go for it.
All right, Bethel's number 2 to serve, Melody Kavoda.
And it looks like the setter on Phoebus knows who her best hitter is.
She does, and Wesley Gomes serves Michaela Riggs, and Phoebus wins their first set. Now all level at 1 set apiece as the teams change sides again. Well, we certainly saw Phoebus come back strong in that set. They had a couple of runs in that first game. Michaela Riggs with probably 7 points to bring her team close. That time it was Claudia Peterson with her serves in the middle, bringing them up to the tie, and then Riggs again from the service line to take them ahead. They win it 25-17.
I'd be interested to know if they keep stats for their team. Oftentimes when I was coaching, we had managers that would record stats, and it would give us, you know, some data on where to base our practices off of.
Can that help you in the middle of a match like that to learn?
Oh, indeed. I would tally up how many free balls or how many, you know, serve aces, how many missed serves, and it would progressively get better each game. Well, it's always nice to make punishments, too.
Now, you've seen a lot of volleyball around in high school level, and we were talking before the match about the number 1 team in the Commonwealth in high school is Princess Anne High School over in Virginia Beach. That's a strong volleyball program over there in the public schools.
Indeed.
Isn't it? And then on the peninsula, Grafton comes in ranking 7th. That's the first peninsula team on the list. But Peninsula Catholic right behind at 13 with Bailey Edmonds and some others that I know up there. They have a strong program at the private school.
Yeah, Peninsula Catholic's always been known to have a lot of volleyball. They have actually, I believe, 6 courts of volleyball. And they also have their, not a feeder program, but they run, their athletic director also runs a volleyball clinic.
Well, I know the coach is Tommy, and I can't think of his last name, but he's been around the volleyball community for a long time.
He's just known by Tommy.
Right, and he's done a great job with the teams up there. We have several young ladies that have come off the peninsula and played volleyball. I know, is it Madison Dedez, who came out of Tab High School. She's now at Averett. And then the Tozzolo girl, who was so strong, I can't think where she played. Was it, I'm going to say it's a public school up in northern end of Newport News, but she was quite the player. She's at Virginia Commonwealth now. So we've had some in particular, the girls go on to college degree. Now we'll talk more about the boys. Boys are probably harder to introduce to this sport. It certainly seems to be that way in Hampton.
Oh, it is. I mean, like I said before about the basketball, they grow up with that outside. They don't grow up with volleyball, and they don't have access to it. Once the boys do start learning and realize how much fun the sport is, they're hooked.
Well, you know, we can see what the team at Heritage has done. They made it deep into the state playoffs last year, and you wouldn't think Heritage High School would be the home of volleyball on the peninsula, but it seems to be.
Yes, they have a great program over there, and they're very hungry. Natural athletes.
Well, it gives a basketball player a season to work on the jumping and the movement and just getting the. I'm sure it helps their legs the whole, but by playing a season of volleyball, doesn't wear them out.
Yeah, and volleyball players have higher verticals than basketball players, so that's something to sell for the boys that I always use.
It's something I tell you. It's something to watch on the professional level, on the college level.
Yeah.
Just how high those men can jump. Of course, many of our watchers, our viewers today, will know the name Karch Karai, probably the only volleyball player they may know by name. And he wasn't the tallest out there, but he was quite the volleyball player, both in the 6-person volleyball and then again on the beach.
Yes, he was fabulous out on the beach.
Bethel to serve here in set number 3, all tied up at 1 set apiece. Played best out of 5. Wesley Gomes with the set. Kayla Riggs, of course, with the hit. And once again, set was a little short. And
Looks
Riggs
like,
knocks it in the net.
Yep, Riggs was trying to go for a short ball and didn't quite make it over.
Avery Brown Renfro has been serving for Bethel first in each of the sets.
She's got a fabulous top spin serve.
Kind of surprised Riggs that time.
I don't think they were planning it, but the number 10 set what would call a shooter ball. It's almost like a short set on the outside, like a middle 1 ball. But I don't think it was intentional.
It's a great serve and a great dig by Riggs to get it over the net. Jelani Davis trying to hit it through the net.
Yeah, we talked about before how you can't move your shoulders or your arms in a ball. It would be considered a carry, so you just have to flick your wrists.
2-1 Bethel as Wesley Gomes drops back for the Phantoms to serve.
And that touched her foot, so regardless, I think it was in.
Yeah, and they called it out, didn't they?
No.
No, they did call it in. Good.
Yeah, it touched her foot.
I'm not sure they saw it, but they did. So 2-2 now.
That's the problem with following it to the line. You have to make sure you don't get in the way of the ball. It's a great serve. I like the way that number 5, Nadia, she was very aggressive. Just missed it.
So here's Riley Zeman. Gomes right to the back line and covered by Avery Brown Renfro.
Comes our southpaw.
That time a short set to Bethel's number 14, Lauren Gray, but she didn't have enough room to get it over the net. Ball over to Phoebus with the set all tied at 3. Here's Michaela Riggs. And it was in.
Wow. Did you see how much that dropped?
And
That
curved
top
away.
spin. Yes,
that
it did.
Was very nice.
I don't think I'd want to receive that ball either.
That time under the net, so the set's tied at 4, and Bethel's going to serve. This is Jelani Davis.
I believe now you can have one missed toss, correct? You can let it drop and then reserve. Might have been a good idea to do that if your toss is too low.
That time to hit little Davis trying to hold back on the power. Hit this little light. We
Just
haven't
got to
seen her
find a
hit
happy
one.
medium there.
We haven't seen her hit it short ever. So.
I think she knows her strength.
So here comes Mariah Lee.
With her famous short serve in front of the 10-foot line. Hopefully Bethel is ready for that.
Zeman.
Jessica Peterson was going behind her middle hitter there. If it was on purpose, it would be called a stack. Net violation from Phoebus, I believe number 5. Nadia.
Watching the communication there between the two officials. Very well done. Here's Bethel's Kamari Foster.
Oh, I think that was a last-minute decision to play that ball. She saved it. Great transitioning by Bethel. But we lost communication.
Yep.
They were ready.
So 6-5 now, Phoebus.
They need to get their energy back up like they had in the first match.
Nadia Richardson to serve for the Phantoms. And serves in the net.
Noticing a lot of players with their fists instead of an open palm. A fist has a lot of knuckles with jagged edges and can shank that ball. So it's much more consistent if you have an open palm.
It's something you got to ingrain on, in particular, new players.
Yes, they believe that if they have a fist, it's going to go farther, more powerful.
Moss with her left hand, and she's in the back corner.
Fantastic shot. Her dad's super proud.
Yeah, the crowd gets bigger. If we notice that we still have an influx of fans coming in as people get off work. That one's under the net. Side out Bethel. So tie game, 7-7 here in set number 3. Each team with one set. This was a close match yesterday. It looks like we're in the same here. That one off the basketball goal, still in play, but Bethel not able to come underneath and get it. Like a double at the field down in Tampa Bay during baseball. Hit him off the ceiling down there. Peterson. And Zeman.
Good job squaring it backwards towards the net by Bethel.
Jessica Peterson knocks it out of bounds. 8-all.
Looks like Bethel's energy is coming up.
Jaden Henderson in the serve as Kamari Foster takes the seat. Out of bounds.
Makes me nervous.
That was close. Yeah, that was very close.
As a coach, we always tell them to go follow it, right?
Our perspective that was in, but the line was behind the ball, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, Sean can see.
Oh, he's right on the line.
Oftentimes in tournaments, you'll have line referees standing in the corners with flags.
You know, especially the speed of the game at some point. You get better and better programs, and then, of course, different levels. 9-9 now with Claudia Peterson to serve. The libero for Phoebus. That's why she's wearing the blue. And she gets a point. I think we saw Mrs. Peterson come in earlier. I didn't see if she was carrying a volleyball in that bag she had. Something tells me the daughters have played a little bit before. 10-9 Phoebus. Foster. Coach Bamba makes play. I think it was inbounds when you hit that.
It's actually called a knuckle or a camel toe when you put two knuckles up there. It's more of a beach volleyball. She's doing a great job serving.
She is. Now I imagine the defense needs to adjust a little bit. Maybe draw someone in a little closer.
Yeah, I think they need to be patient. Getting kind of excited, overrunning the ball a little bit, catching it a little higher on their platform than needed. You want to be able to pass the ball away from your body so you have a little bit more control. And some of these girls are getting caught up just like she did. She did a great job there.
Avery Brown-Renfro knocks it over and does a great job as she wins the serve back. Now, we were talking about feeder leagues and things. I was down at the Paradise Ocean Club in Fort Monroe this summer, and they had a youth volleyball tournament going on down there.
Yes.
Beautiful facility. But the girls were anywhere between 8 and 13, and they could play.
Yeah, it's fantastic. A friend of mine named Dave Keeter has been really advocating and starting that program. Great hit.
Jelani Davis, the power hit off the fingertips and scored the point for Bethel.
Notice she hit it down.
Riley Zeman with a nice call to Foster. She knocks it out of bounds.
But Dave Keeter is also a PE teacher, I believe at Tab or Grafton High School, and he has a great connection with those kids and able to build that program on the beach.
Well, it was impressive to watch. We sat right there by the court and watched for a long time. Wesley Gomes serving now for the Phantoms.
Oh, miscommunication there.
Jelani Davis. That's her teammate over there. Yeah. Calls of carry from the crowd, but it's going to be a point Bethel. Now he's aiming a serve for the Bruins. They trail it by 1. Oh, and Claudia Peterson just gets it back over the net.
So the rule is when you go up to block, you're allowed to hit it again. So if she went up and blocked and actually what we call a chicken wing and you play it out of the net instead of catching it, she might have had a potential play over the net.
Imagine it's a tough rule to instill intuitively.
Well, their drill's designed specifically for it, where you take the antenna and just play like a fraction of the court.
Lonnie Davis, miss hit, drops in for a point.
We call that a paintbrush. When you whiff the ball and you just get a couple fingers on it, it always works because you got an aggressive swing. The defense is lined up to a nice attack, and then whoop.
Davis with the serve for Bethel.
She did medium power there. It was perfect.
Riggs did a nice job to get her hands on the ball, but it's falling down as she hit it and went out of bounds. Another point for Bethel. They've tied up the set at 14. Timeout, Phoebus.
She does a good job, too, when she's digging for her momentum to continue forward. There's been a couple athletes that we've seen tonight that have been falling backwards. And volleyball is a sport where you want to get on your toes so that you can constantly move, I'm sure, just like other sports.
And I bet it also helps ball control.
Oh,
As
indeed.
You're not fading away trying to flail at something. You're more coming in with a controlled attack on the ball.
Right, right. So she does I think her name Riggs. Yes,
Yes,
Michaela
Michaela
Riggs.
Riggs.
She's done a great job offensively and defensive. Is there a captain for Phoebus? We don't have one notated
No.
here, but I think she should be captain.
Well, she certainly did.
She's a good leader out there.
She's we've got some information on it. Michaela, great asset and all-around player, says her coach. Places her serve right where I tell her. I think you picked up on that earlier. Yeah, that was. You see that they came from behind last night. They were down by 7 and came back, won it 26-24 in the fourth set.
Yeah.
Great defense and a heavy hitter. That's pretty accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, she's listed first.
You know, fans, if you're out there and you want to come catch some of this volleyball while they're still playing this fall, come on out to the high school's 5 o'clock start for the girls. Oh, nice block there. That's Kamari Foster, I believe. No, I'm sorry. Take it back. Aubriana Royal with the block for Bethel.
So we call those balls 50-50 balls, 50% on this side and this side. What would be much better if Phoebus went up and actually tried to battle that ball with her as opposed to playing defense on the ground, going up and blocking, pushing through that ball. It's hard to time it, though, just right. Great set.
Oh, and Jessica Peterson. That's been her spot right there.
Wesley Golmes' set, though, to line her up was perfect.
She certainly has a good knowledge of where her teammates are because we've seen her find Riggs many times, that time finding Peterson.
Yes, she does know where her good hitters are.
Here's your favorite server, Mariah Lee.
I don't think she's missed one yet, right above the 10-foot line.
Boom, surprises them, and it worked.
Great backup, though, by Brianna Oglesby. She was ready to help out her partner.
16-15 now, Phoebus. They lost the first set, won the second, trying to win the third here. That time probably waiting too much for it, wouldn't you say? Not stepping in.
Actually, in beach volleyball, we do those intentionally. We call those sky balls, and we fire them straight up into the wind and let the wind just carry it, move it around. Sometimes if we have too much time to think about it, though, just like you said, little mind game she's playing. Oh,
first time we jinxed her now. As Lee knocks off her hand.
She had a good run.
And Libero, oh no, I thought the Libero's going to come in. Let's see if she does come in. Claudia Peterson. Here's Kamari Foster for Bethel. And it's short. So Bethel falls behind by 2. Service to Phoebus.
Caught a little bit. Her hand was underneath the ball as opposed to directly behind the ball when she served that.
What is your feeling on the advantage, whether you're the serving team or not the serving team? Is there any advantage either way? In tennis, the server has the...
Depends on who your team is. I mean, if you have a killer server, we're going to take serve. But oftentimes, I like defense so that you can set it up. And you can be the first one to have possession of the ball.
That time Bethel handles the serve, picks up a point. Lauren Gray is going to serve for the Bruins. Now, what's your lineup here defensively for the serve? That's 2-2 look. Anything special about that?
No, I think you can hide people and have your best serve receivers in front. You just have to make sure that you don't overlap the front row and back row.
Okay. So Jessica Peterson.
So the down ref is responsible for checking rotation and making sure there's no overlaps, and that's what Jane's doing right now. She's checking this Bethel team while Phoebus is serving.
It serves wide. Jaden Henderson again for the Bruins.
It's a great serve. Looked like it had a little wobble to it. Potentially a floater serve.
Peterson got it back to the front line, but nobody there. Point for Bethel, and they tied up at 19.
Good timeout.
Well, we've seen the timeout work for Phoebus before. They kind of changed the momentum in set number 2.
Yeah, sometimes what's kind of been bothering me sitting back here and not being able to actually get out there is when somebody shanks a ball, the body language of the entire team just going down as opposed to just running. I would send half my team go help because you never know what's going to touch the ceiling or whatnot, but they're all set there as opposed to just being defeated early. I would really encourage them to continue play because you just never know.
Well, there's a lot of, I've seen YouTube videos of the
Oh my God.
extreme recoveries by teams, particularly on the college level, and how far they go into the crowd. They go different places around the court, and they're able to get it back in the field of play without going over one of the poles.
Yeah.
And then continue the rally.
Yeah, just recently there was a libero that went down into a fetal position. She just dove for the ball. She ducks down. A front row player dives with one hand, gets it back over.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Henderson now has a timeout for Phoebus. We'll see if they recovered a little of their momentum. Davis.
That was a fabulous save.
Avery Brown-Renfro again. When she's outside the pole, but used her right hand to knock it back in the field of play.
She did not touch that pole at all. Her angle position was fabulous. She saved that ball.
Henderson with another strong serve.
Fantastic pass by number 14.
Gomes tried to sneak one back into the back corner and missed it. Bethel now up 21-19.
Their energy is definitely up.
Riggs with a nice saving hit back over. Johnny Davis with that power, knocking it a little long. 21-20 now.
So what you
Peterson.
What you have to do with somebody like that is really teach them timing and where to contact the ball. If she hits it behind her head, it's definitely going to hit the front wall. When we did see her before, how she contacted it in front, and the ball went straight down.
Great serve by Claudia Peterson.
Good free ball transitioning.
Oh, and they, keep playing. As that ball was still in play.
Yes, so you have a couple people on the team that are doing a great job of hustling.
And Janae Thomas over there with it. Got to hit it twice. Team could not get it back over. That serve in the net. 22-21, Bethel.
Phoebus is trying to cheer their way up, get some energy back. Ooh.
Ace by Gomes. 22 all.
Bethel's got to be aggressive here.
Almost like there was a discussion that distracted them from going to it.
Great pass.
Simmons and Foster.
We got a communicator over here on Phoebus. Another great pass by Trinity Luck from Bethel.
That one too close to net. Gomes tries to come up and do something with it, but she was in too tight. Ball over to Bethel. They have a 1-point lead. And the serve, Riley Zeman comes in to serve.
She's got a great bow and arrow serve there with a good toss.
That's Jelani Davis.
Spot. Great spot. So that what we call that is setter's D. Position number 1 where the setter should be. And if we aim for setter's D in offense, it takes the setter out of the play. So Davis did a great job there.
Set point for the Bruins. Zeman serving.
So sending free balls for Phoebus, they should be sending it to their setter's D spot too.
That time Davis a little far back for the downward hit. And the ball goes over to Phoebus and Michaela Riggs to serve. So this could be a real turning point. 24-23 Bethel with Riggs at the service line.
Possible.
Oh, and a little too much Knocks out of bounds, all tied up at 24. Good recovery by Bethel. Just got a little off balance.
No, teammates trying to pick each other up. Coach called a timeout. Try to get the energy back up. Good hustle over there.
Important set here. Michael Price doing our camera work here on the floor, doing a great job. Well, now we're seeing the teams kind of level out here. I know it's 24 all, but we've seen the play level out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. The defense needs to be picked up a little bit by both teams, but they're having a lot of good rallies back and forth.
We're seeing much more passing to the middle for a setter-type position than we saw in the first, even the first two sets.
Yeah, versus setting to the right, front right position, where your weakest hitter would be and your best blocker. So your setter needs to be a good blocker and a good setter.
So theoretically, the best hitter is on the left side?
Yes. They have the most best angle, and your setter coming from the right. And then your tallest, best blocker is in the middle, I'm sorry. And your setter needs to be a good blocker because they close it.
Michaela Riggs now.
Often called middle blocker, not even middle hitter. Ooh. Gotta watch that foot fault. I think both teams are trying to be tricky here, going over on 1 and 2.
Oh, and Janae looks like she stepped into the net. Janae Thomas.
I think Bethel was shocked because it was a great up over there, and I think they thought that the call was on them.
That was a series of sneaky hits.
Captain is Michaela Riggs because captains can only approach the up ref. Michaela just approached and asked for clarification on which athlete just touched the net. I think we were right in our presumption that it was Miss Riggs is the captain.
Jessica Peterson. And point Phoebus. We go 25 all.
It's getting spicy.
Do you like the rally scoring system better than the old-fashioned?
Oh, I do. It makes it so much faster. It's volleyball is a sport that just keeps constantly changing, but they also added that you can touch your feet now. You can kick the ball.
Okay.
But there's so many things that are changing, but it's making the sport more fun, in my opinion, and faster.
Mariah Lee now.
Sometimes with that old-fashioned side-out scoring, it go on forever. We had 3 Bethel players trying to pass that ball at once. It's better to be aggressive than let it drop. Phoebus keeps feeding their best player.
Oh, nice shot. That's Jelani Davis. He knocks it over right in the middle. Of course, in baseball, it's hit him where they ain't. That was it right there. 26-25 set point for Bethel. Kamari Foster to serve. And that's the set for the Bethel Bruins. They win set number 3. They lead it 2-1. That was a back and forth set right there.
It was very exciting.
What impressed you about that?
It was very exciting to watch. I think the battles of the net is what's the most exciting. There's a lot of 50-50 balls, and some of those Bethel players are right there at the net waiting for that ball as opposed to going back and playing with those 3 hits.
Now, what's that a result of? I mean, why so many of that kind of play with these two teams?
Like we talked, defensively you should be targeting. Offensively, you should be targeting that back line where the setter is. Oftentimes, you're just trying to get it over. So at this level of play, that's why the balls aren't going quite as deep. But I think that a lot of these players are ready to play at the net. That's made it most exciting for me to watch. They've had a lot of good rallies, too, back and forth.
Have been, in fact, consistently through the 3 sets we've seen.
Yes.
A lot of good rallies.
I mean, when I first started coaching in Hampton City Schools, just got the sport. I mean, we were so excited as coaches on either side if there was a rally, and now it looks like the sport has really come a long way.
Well, both coaches, Raven Richardson over at Phoebus and Sarah Mira at Bethel, have done a great job. Again, the program looks healthy, a lot of players on each squad. And we do see the skills that are being taught by these young ladies, both of whom have played the sport.
Yeah, Raven as an outside hitter in college as well as a middle, and played in high school in Maryland and Colorado.
And Amira from New York, she was telling us.
Yeah.
Played high school and club and then club in college.
And she just claimed that she was a libero and she couldn't be anything else. But they're vital to the team, so it's nice that they have different backgrounds they're able to bring to their teams.
I know when you watch the Olympic volleyball, the libero has become such a key point for all the countries, especially the Olympic play. Very impressive. I know there's some big hitters for the United States. Like you always have the tall, Southern California student athletes that play. But there was one from Utah, and I can't think of her name, that was a shorter young lady, but could play. Could be a hitter, could be a libero. She played a little bit of everything in her career. I think she was from Utah. So you see the sport spread across the country to states like Utah and other places you wouldn't expect it. Mm-hmm. And you see the athleticism has grown so much.
Yeah, you really got to be an all-around athlete. I like to train and coach, not to the skill, but to teach everybody everything, because you never know if that tall athlete's going to be your best defender, or when they actually are on the back line and serve receive in one rotation and they get the ball, they need to know how to serve just like everybody else. So you never know, like Miss Briggs over here.
Yeah.
Briggs, excuse me. She, is shorter for her position, but she's fantastic, has good timing, like we talked about, in her jumps.
Well, she certainly has been taught by somebody who knows what they're doing, because her timing is terrific. So she brings her squad on the floor here. Set number 4 at Phoebus High School. 2-1. Bethel leads it, and they're going to get the service first. And Jaden Henderson to serve for the Bruins. Once the boys' teams wander in, they're ready to play. A couple basketball players playing for Bethel, I see. I haven't seen the Phoebus squad yet, at least together. So Phoebus sets its lineup.
So the down rep right now, Jane, is checking the rotation. Then after she checks the rotation, she gives permission to the libero to enter the court and make that substitution.
So that has to be done first. 6 players on first, and then the libero takes whatever position libero wants to take.
Yeah, she's going to sub in for 18, and then she's also probably going to sub in for, I'm guessing, 10.
Okay.
The opposite player. So right now, libero could be anywhere on the back line because the person serving is not technically on the court, so she's just not in rotation or out of rotation.
Wesley Gomes, from not being on the court, serves it well. She recovers in the hit.
Miss Davis did a good job of hitting over that big block by number 10 and Janae Thomas. Great communication there by number 14, Lauren Gray.
And time off of Riggs' fingertips. Point to Bethel. And they get to serve. Avery Brown Renfro to serve for the Bruins. I've seen Coach Sarah Mira use the same lineup, same first server every time. Very consistent.
Very smart play because number 16, Avery Brown Renfro, just had a nice top spin. Bethel's got a lot of powerful servers on their squad.
Brown Renfro again here. Her team leads at 2-0.
There's the 50-50 ball we talked about.
Jelani Davis. Good place to have her.
Yeah, I agree. She did a great job being patient this time and waiting. Also flipped her wrist.
Jessica Peterson bounces one off the rigging here.
Wesley Gomes was ready to play it off the ceiling.
Oh, almost. That time, Janae Thomas ended up a little close in her hands off her teammate, Nadia Richardson.
Nadia did a good job of playing after the block, though. She touched it twice.
4-0 Bethel. And that time you could see the toss was too far in front of her, so she nails in the net. 4-1 now. Bethel. Michaela Riggs.
As a coach, I'd remind them that they have that one toss if they can. Let go and then retry. Little miscommunication by Phoebus there on who was going to set that ball.
Riggs ended up knocking it off the pole on this side. Ball over to Bethel, and they lead it 5-1 in this fourth set. They lead it 2 sets to 1.
Kind of an exciting game to know, too, that Phoebus won last night against Bethel. Now Bethel's trying to redeem themselves.
Very evenly matched teams here. Nice serve. Reply is out of bounds. Riley Zeman leads the Phantom to take a timeout.
It's nice to see the coaches smiling. Every now and then, you know, sometimes we get so wrapped up in the sport and the game that we get so intense, but sometimes we need to relax too. So I think they feed off of the coaches' energy right now.
Well, at the end of the day, you want these young ladies to continue to play this sport because, as I said, you can play this sport a long time. You used to have some great outdoor tournaments here. The Digs. Did you ever go to the Digs?
All the time.
And talk about some competitive volleyball from some older people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
teams in their 40s and had players in their 40s and 50s, and they were very competitive. Outdoor volleyball, six-person volleyball, co-ed, which was a lot of fun.
I think as we get older, what we tend to do in the sport of volleyball is move outside. The floor gets hard on our joints. We're less apt to dive on the wood.
Right.
So the beach, the grass is much more forgiving for our joints.
Well, that was a lot of fun up there in Jamestown, the Jamestown campground.
Oh, they moved it to Virginia Beach now?
Oh, did they?
Yep. I forget the name of the KOA, I think it is, yeah.
Riley Zeman to serve for the Bruins. Claudia Peterson and her sister Jessica. Johnny Davis called out of bounds.
That was close.
In fact, there may have been a disagreement between the two officials there. I'm not sure the up official could see it.
Well, the down official, Jane, right now has authority over that ball because she's closer, or authority over the decision.
Mariah Lee to serve for the Phantoms.
Great sets.
And a great hit.
Kamari Foster with the set.
And Lauren Gray with the hit. So good teamwork from the Bruins. They lead at 7-2.
Fantastic. I think Dad is happy in the crowd.
Jelani Davis, good chance to take a look at her. 3-sport athlete, again state champion in the shot put last year. Very nearly got it to tip over the net, but couldn't do it. Point Phoebus. Nadia Richardson to serve for the Phantoms.
You can see Libero and number 6, Riggs, getting ready to switch positions after the serve.
Hit there off Foster's hand, drops short. Phoebus gets a point. Now, what are the rules on positioning? Do you have to at least start somewhat near where your 6-person position would be?
Right now you can see Phoebus, they're stacked up in the middle. Basically, you just can't be beside each other if you're in the front row. Same rule goes in the back row. Then the last rule would be the back row cannot pass the front row. After the serve is done, you can move wherever you want.
But if you start in the back like Riggs did, you have to hit from the back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or else it'd be called a back row attack.
Yeah. And Riggs do that a lot. She hadn't been set too much in this set and not really even getting in set 3.
What I thought Phoebus was doing was setting her up in a nice low set to try to throw off the defense of the Bethel. But Bethel's been ready.
Foster with the left-handed serve. Here's Riggs from the back line.
It's a great swing there by number 16, Avery Brown-Renfro.
There's your double hit on the front. Brianna Royal.
Riggs coming up from the back to attack that. And to Riggs again.
Oh, and the short hit throws the block off because it comes slower than she thought, and it drops in right behind her. So Riggs, I don't know if that was intentional or not.
No, it's hard to tell. I mean, paintbrushes often
That's right.
aren't, but I don't think that was. I think she just did a change-up.
And that was a nice hit. Jessica Peterson to serve.
Foot fault by number 16, Peterson.
She's a terrific serve when she's on.
Coach is telling her to shake it off.
Lauren Gray to serve for the Bruins. They lead it 9-5 here in set number 4.
There's that power from Gray we talked about earlier. She's got a great swing. 50-50 ball.
That time Phoebus is number 18, Amaya Holmes, kind of caught flat-footed by that ball.
Wesley Gomes tried to play defense instead of going up and blocking.
Bethel picks another point. They lead at 10-5 here.
Whew. There is a lot of power behind that
That was
serve.
a great serve. Probably the hardest serve we've seen hit all night, Lauren Gray.
Believe it or not, when she was a freshman, that power was still there.
And she's learned to control it.
Yeah. There she goes. Bad toss. Reset.
Hard hits out of bounds that time. Got a little too much up with the palm and turns over to Phoebus. 11-6 now. Claudia Peterson comes in. She will serve. And you can serve anywhere in the back line, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because we see several of them move around a little bit.
Yeah, it used to be that you only had to serve from the right. Nice deep ball, out of bounds.
Phoebus trying to claw back in behind Claudia Peterson. See what I did there?
That was smooth. Ooh, we have option there. Be aggressive. Oh,
And
and
Janae Thomas with a really nice recovery. Able to tap it over the net. Phoebus on a roll here. 11-8. Phantom. Excuse me, Bruins.
nice short serve. But Avery Brown Renfro is ready.
And they let it go. But that's exactly what you were talking about. The block by Riggs, and then she turned her hands underneath to pop it up and pass it back.
Yeah, they're doing a great job playing at the net. They're doing much better. They cannot give up those plays.
12-8 ball goes to Bethel. They lead it. That one, Claudia Peterson comes up a little late.
A little miscommunication between the sisters there.
A couple of glances between the sisters.
So sometimes we call that a waffle when you make 2 contacts on the ball with the same hand.
Leads to it being a little short, I imagine.
Yes.
Wesley Gomes. Good effort over there by Jelani Davis, but couldn't get it.
I think our coach is trying to explain to her if she passes away from her body a little bit, she'll have a little bit more ball control. Great serve.
You know, we got to get maybe Michael Price, who probably listened to us, to get a shot of Coach Raven Richardson showing the service sign, just showing how she does it. She's behind the clipboard very cleverly.
So right now she's at position number 5.
A nice recovery by Gomes.
That was hard for Avery Brown Renfro. She tried to reach behind her head to hit that ball. Sometimes when you're off balance, you should just take that decision and pass the ball.
Now the positions on the floor, 1, 2, 3 up front.
1 is your serve receive. Your serve position.
Mm-hmm.
Your next rotation is your second server, so it'd be front right.
Okay.
And then so on, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 being your back middle.
Riggs knocks it in.
Nice deep corner shot.
And Phoebus is clawed back to tie the set at 13.
It almost didn't have any downward trajectory. If you notice, it was a push right into that corner. It was very well done.
Well, it shows you she's got some court awareness.
Oh, she's definitely got some experience. Playing on 1 and 2.
Lonnie Davis.
Oh,
and Gomes saves it.
Fabulous up by Gomes. Bethel did a great job of staying out of the net. I think one player pulled the other player off the net. It's a great rally. Ooh. And a double hit from Gomes.
After she basically played every ball for Phoebus that rally.
She did. It's discouraging out of a player when you do so well and then
14-13.
make a mistake.
Off the arm of Jessica Peterson. Good serve by number 16, Avery Brown-Renfro, who's been the strong server throughout the match today.
Yeah, Bethel's got killer serves over there. Nice, consistent topspin, aggressive serves.
That 50-50 ball handled well by both sides.
Yes, very much.
Jessica Peterson, nice leap, but knocks it out of bounds. Bethel moves ahead by 3.
It was very good footwork by her. She just kind of squared her shoulders up the wrong way, but she had that. Ooh, 16-13.
Coach Raven Richardson going to talk to Jessica Peterson some.
I like the different styles of coaching here, too. She's very calm, no matter what energy comes from her team.
I'm surprised they're not all leaning in, how quiet she speaks to them. Kind of very E.F. Hutton-like. You know that old reference?
Yeah, I kind of be the opposite. I kind of be the opposite. I'm kind of intense. Kind of scare my boys sometimes.
Well, that's good for them, I'm sure. So Phoebus trying to get their momentum back. This has been a back and forth set. They trail it 2-1. Bethel going for the win here in set 4.
If they keep their energy up like they have been and their serves in, I think Bethel can take it.
I think the citizens of Hampton watching this can at least say that the sport of volleyball, girls volleyball, seems to be strong at these two schools with the number of players sitting on the bench. I imagine it's always good to have at least 12 so you can practice. Those many days of practice.
Well, that's a very good point.
Anytime Claudia Peterson steps in and had to go off her hands, Bethel continues their momentum, 17-13 lead here in set 4.
I like how Janae just come up there and try to pump up her partner a little bit. It always helps. Miss Avery Brown-Renfro. Killer serve over here.
Peterson knocked it over.
So the audience is kind of concerned right now for those 4 hits.
Out. Yeah, that was out. That
good
one we
call.
could actually see. Yeah, we could actually see that one.
Kind of entertaining hearing the audience behind us.
Oh, it is great, yeah. So Michaela Riggs for Phoebus trying to bring them back into this. They trail it by 3.
Ooh.
And she gets one back.
Little miscommunication there by Bethel.
Now, where's she going with this one? Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Same spot, evidently.
And he brings them back within 1.
I think the coach just said anywhere in the back row. Kind of the shrug of the shoulders.
Yep. Kind of let her play.
Yeah, she's a fantastic server, fantastic player, so.
That one gets over.
Communicated. Ooh.
Lonnie Davis.
Miss Riggs got underneath the ball in what we call a J. She kind of popped it with her wrist. 50-50 ball again. Woo!
Oh, and Jelani Davis in the net, I thought.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a great play. If she just tipped it over.
Yeah, it was. It was exciting. Now, if both players are in the net, they'll call a replay.
Okay.
But I don't think that Phoebus was in the net at that time.
17 all and cuts it. And Phoebus has moved ahead by 1 behind Michaela Riggs.
think some of the people in the audience thought that ball was up, but I believe it bounced before number 1, Trinity Luck, picked it up. Exciting game here, 18-17. Nice short set there from Miss Davis. Woo, she's being aggressive at the net.
Oh, good play there. Jessica Peterson able to tip it back over, and then back and forth play at the net. 19-17 Phoebus. And 20-17.
It's a hard ball to commit. I mean, you have to either commit to it or let it go, but playing in between makes it difficult to pass.
That time knocks it in the net, but a good round of serves by Michaela Riggs puts Phoebus in the lead by 2 now. Riley Zeman for Bethel.
I think she earned 5 points there. Great set there by Gomes, I'm sorry.
Another point Phoebus. Janae Thomas. And Phoebus is number 5. Nadia Richardson combined on the point. Okay, Mariah Lee comes in with that serve.
So Bethel is keeping their same defense, even though they know this server, where she serves every time. Well,
yeah.
Not this time.
She's only missed 2 all afternoon. There you go. The server is substituted for, and then the libero substitutes for the substitute. Riley Davis serve. As president of the class, Wesley Gomes. Let me get her to smile.
It's too intense right now.
She ran a very good social media campaign. I followed the campaign. Riggs to Gomes.
Double hit, 2 contacts.
21 all, Bethel serving.
So we call that a waiter. You go back pedaling with one hand and you just kind of have your palm facing the ceiling and pop it up. It's kind of a last resort, but does the job.
22-21 Phoebus now. This 4th set, 25 points. And that service out of bounds by Nadia Richardson. 22 all, Bethel now controlling their own destiny here in set 4. Kamari Foster, the left-hander for Bethel. Needs 3 to win the set and the match.
Good rally going on at this point.
Jessica Peterson in the net.
We talked about earlier how you line up as an outside hitter like Riggs does and have patience and waiting for the balls in front of you as opposed to going backwards and reaching for that ball. Makes it a little bit more consistent. Nice short serve. Tough set there by Gomes.
Good hit by Bethel to put the ball in the back line. Now they have a set and match point here. Kamari Foster to serve for the match.
Phoebus needs to pick it up here, get their energy level up, talk.
And the ball short, 23-24.
A lot of pressure on that serve there.
And Jessica Peterson to serve for the Phantoms. killer serve. And they could use a few right here. They trail it by 1.
It's a great serve.
Very good serve. Picks up the 1, ties it at 24.
Now, if she would, back in the day, you have to earn that point and have side out scoring. If she would have missed that serve, she would have lost it. So that was a very, very good serve. And it was aggressive on top of that. Not very safe. She went for it.
She seems to be that kind of play. I mean, she's mishit a few balls today, but she hadn't done it for lack of aggression.
She did a great job. The deep serve.
And it's out. 25-24, so match point now to the Bruins.
Coach is telling them, don't worry about it. The next point.
Lauren Gray now to serve for the Bruins for the win.
And Coach Raven just wants one pass here.
Good serve made by Peterson. Oh, a nice tip on over the net. Aubrey Royal, no, they
looked a little guilty from Bethel. What the call is. Woo.
That's the game and the match.
Great game.
It really was. Very evenly played. The serve, I think, for Bethel made the difference there. What do you think?
Oh, very much so. I think Phoebus might go back and check their serve receive, but Phoebus had a lot of good plays as well, coming from 50-50 balls and those outside attacks. Good footwork.
Well, folks, we've seen a good match in the girls. I mean, good match day between Phoebus and Bethel here at Phoebus High School. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring you the boys' game here from the Phoebus Phantom Gym as they get warmed up. Final score here, the Bethel Bruins 3-1 over the Phoebus Phantoms.